What's up, everybody? I am so excited that it is September. We are rounding out 2024. And I don't have just one, but two guests today for my monthly LinkedIn Live. No one else but Jim Edwards and Matt Hagberg. And we have some really fun things to talk about. Wherever you are watching or listening in today, please say hello. Let us know where you're at. Write some questions in the comments, whether we get to them during or after. We will make sure we address all those comments. And we're really excited to be here today. I'm going to let actually these guys introduce themselves because they're highly entertaining. Jim.
Yeah.
Jim Edwards. He's kind of an OG of copy and content. Like this guy's been doing marketing, sales copy, all for like a long time. Jim.
A long
A
time.
long time. Okay. And Matt's been working with him a long time. Good or bad, we don't know. But Jim, I want you to first give us a little bit of who the heck you are and what you're so excited about that you have today with your company, Copy and Content.ai.
So I guess if you cut me in half and counted the internet rings, it'd be like 100 because I've been selling online since before the turn of the century, which was a while ago now. Almost a quarter of a century ago was the turn of the century, which is really scary. So I started out selling ebooks. I had written a couple of books and couldn't get them published. And so I thought, well, let me try and sell my stuff online. Long story short, I got written up in the New York Times for being one of the first people in the entire world ever to publish an ebook. And my business progressed with teaching people the mechanics of doing what I was doing. So writing, selling ebooks, selling courses, doing all that stuff. But along the way, almost as an afterthought, but not really, as I was teaching people how to write their books, sell their courses, do that stuff, I also taught them how to sell what I was helping them to make. So I was teaching them how to write sales copy, how to run ads, how to do email follow-up, and learned a lot, not just about doing it myself, but how to teach other people who weren't salespeople how to actually sell stuff. So fast forward, wrote a book called Copywriting Secrets, started developing software back in 2005, 2006 to actually help people automatically generate sales copy. And it's just been a progression over the years, but at the core, the mission has always been to help non-salespeople sell their stuff. So if you're a coach, if you're a professional, if you're a trainer, if you're a consultant, if you're an author, whatever it is, there's what you do, and then there's the selling it. And my job is to help you sell it by putting the right words on a screen, come out of your mouth, presentations, in ads, in content, even in your bio, to get the right people to buy from you so you can do what you want to do, which is to consult, to author, to do all that good stuff. So that in a nutshell is what I do. And my only question is, you said you have not one but two guests today. Am I number one and Matt's number two? Just asking.
It's
So
always a
that's me.
competition with him.
I'm
Always a
not
competition.
answering that question. So,
Good
but
call.
Jim, before Matt, you introduce yourself. When did you officially when did Copy and Content.ai officially launch? What year was that? When did that start?
So copyandcontent.ai officially launched at the end of 2022, but it was an extension of Content Marketing Scripts, which started a couple of years before that, which was an extension of stuff I'd been doing, like I said, since 2006. So this is just really the latest iteration of a platform that I've been developing now for almost 20 years. And everybody puts a lot of the emphasis, oh, it's AI, it's AI, it's AI. And it's like, AI is kind of like a turbocharger. If you don't have the car already, having a turbocharger doesn't really do you any good. So the AI is just the next logical extension of stuff we've been doing for a couple of decades now.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. And the AI is only as good as the data that it has. And so what Jim is also alluding to is that he has lots and lots of evidence and examples and tons of credibility in what he's created. And that's what's so amazing about copyandcontent.ai in comparison to a lot of different AI tools that are out there right now. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But Matt, how are you doing? Tell us a little bit about you and how you started to work with Jim.
I have fewer rings than Jim. I just want to put that out there. That's just my kind of polite way of saying I'm younger. So I actually, I've been kind of a serial entrepreneur since my early 20s. So I really just got into it in marketing and operations for brick and mortar, anything across every industry, really. And then as things started transitioning online, I started dabbling in e-commerce in 2017, 18. I built my first e-commerce brand to $1 million relatively quickly. So I was like, wow, this really works. So I transitioned all of my efforts from brick and mortar to marketing and operations and helping companies to marry the two together more effectively using digital advertising. And really, I spend a lot of my time trying to make sure that marketing and operations and customer acquisition actually go together rather than just thinking you can slap, a Facebook ad up there and it's going to turn into a customer, or you create LinkedIn content and it's just going to turn into a customer. Like, that's not how these things work. So that's really become my niche, is how to marry all of those things together so you have a smooth customer acquisition process and you have a team and systems in place in order to deliver effectively and have an actual business rather than just a marketing side or just a business side. Along that path, I ran into Jim Edwards. We have some common acquaintances in the internet marketing world, and so he asked me if I could manage advertising for him for some of his projects. And so I was like 5 or 6 years ago. And so I started doing that. And then when copyandcontent.ai became a thing, he had a conversation and he was like, hey, do you want to just come on and help us really get this thing out there, build this thing even bigger, as well as, give him some insights as far as like effective ad creative and stuff like that, which I do a little less of. But yeah, so we joined forces in order to really make this thing as big as possible and really just share what it can do. I can't reiterate, Rachel, what you said enough, where it's not just about the AI, it's about all of the experience and in order to best use the AI tools out there that are really just chatbots, you need all of this content and all of this experience to feed into the AI so you can get back what you're really looking for. And 99% of business owners don't have that content to feed into AI to get the experience and the true results back they're looking for. Whereas, like Jim said, he's been around a long time. And so he's been able to grab all of that experience, put it into AI and other mixes of what's behind the scenes and create something that actually sells. That's why it's, sales content generation software, and not just let me spit out a thing that may or may not work for you. So yeah, that's for the last 5 years we've been working together. In the last couple of years, it's been really focusing on copying content and getting that message out there.
Yeah. And one last, I just want to share one quick thing. You talk about Jim's been around a long time, which, we can add to the old man joke stuff, but, along the way, baking in the experience with the AI and with the sales content generation software, all jokes aside, I mean, I was a syndicated newspaper columnist for 10 years. I've written international bestsellers. I've written sales letters, many sales letters that have done 7 figures, one doing 8 figures, ads that have gotten millions of clicks. And so it's with the AI stuff, it's not just any chucklehead can go to ChatGPT and just enter in something and it'll give you something like, oh, this is amazing, because you didn't have to do it. But it's knowing whether what it gave you is any good or not, and then knowing how to iterate and how to get to the result faster. So that's really what this is all about, is helping people get useful results fast.
So, okay, before we like talk about AI and marketing, I want to get a pulse from y'all because, you know, we're marketers. We've been in here, we've been doing this for a bit. You guys have been doing it longer than me, even. I know, I'm just so young.
I hope y'all get the old man
I
stuff
know.
out of
This
your
is-
system
I know.
quick,
This
man,
is turning
you know?
into the
I know,
this is
it's-
turning into the Jim is old show.
And I don't even know
No, for
where
real.
this is coming from, but okay.
No, I kid. Everyone, I'm kidding. But here, you're sitting with a group of people that understand marketing very well. And I feel like we're in this really different space, right? I mean, you said the past 25 years, right? The online marketing. It's like, it's not online marketing. It's just marketing it right now, right? We're digital marketers. And now it's AI in marketing. And the groups that I'm part of and the people I'm talking about, it feels like we're getting it's more and more pressed on marketers. Budgets are being slashed. It's more difficult to get in front of the right people than it ever has been, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this talk every day about generative AI. And now we've democratized a tool that most people are really not equipped to be using. So in many ways, it's like devaluing, is that the right word? Undervaluing what a marketer does.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like a really interesting time. And so if we take a step back, you know, Jim, I love your perspective, and then Matt. What is your pulse and sense on what's happening now? And as a business owner or a consultant or an author or that professional that is thinking about, how do I grow my visibility? Maybe how do I leave my job so I can go do my thing? How do I get a sense of what the heck I do to get myself out there today?
So there's so much stuff going on right now. Just while you were talking, I had these random things popping in my head. You know, it's all about speed now and targeting and results, huh?
His camera is flipped.
I think it'll be unflipped when it renders the when it comes out online. I think it'll be okay. It'll
hit
unflip.
On the settings on the bottom.
No, I think it'll
it'll
unflip. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I don't want to talk about this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So my point is that everybody's worried about speed and targeting and results. Everybody, you know, one of the things that we talk about is injecting soul into your content, which is basically stories, opinions, unique experience, and lessons learned. These ultimately what's happening is, and you've probably heard this before, but AI, especially ChatGPT or Claude or anything that is a chat bot, enables you to be an instant mid-wit, not nitwit, but mid-wit, which means it's capable of creating slightly above average content instantly, which makes you feel like, hey, that's pretty good. And then I don't have to do anything to it. And so what's happening is there's this tidal wave of mid-wit content coming out. I'm not even talking about stuff that's that's not well researched or documented or cited or all the other stuff. And you've got these three groups of people out here now that are on the bell curve. You got the never AI people. Okay, no AI. There's no integrity there. It sucks. Then you have the blatant opportunists, the BOs. The BO people are just like, it gave me something great. I'm a genius. And they throw it out there.
Bad odor.
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm doing this on purpose. Okay. Never AI. Okay. Body odor. And then in the middle, you got the people who are like, I don't know what to do because it's almost got me there, but what can I do? And so the easiest way that I can explain it is that if we want to attract our customers, we have to do two things when it comes to AI and really any tool now. Number one, we need to focus on value for our target customer.
Yeah.
Value for them. In other words, your target potential customer doesn't care if the stuff you're putting out was made partially or in full by AI. They don't care. It's not like, oh my God, I'm going to go to LinkedIn. I really like Rachel, but I'm going to copy and paste her stuff and put it into GPT detector. And if she's got more than 33% GPT generated text, I'm never going to follow her. Nobody's doing that. Okay. So that's number one. So the never AI people, they're just sticking their head in the sand. And the BO people are the same people that would spam you and were doing like Google Cache and all that stuff 20 years ago. It's just like the least amount of effort to get something to happen. And right now, with that gap in understanding, they can make stuff happen, but that's closing.
Right. Yeah.
Focus on value for your target customer. And then there needs to be an identity shift. People in the past have considered that I have to be a creator. I have to be the creator of the article, of the video, of the picture, of the content, of the presentation, of the sales copy, of the book, of whatever it is, okay? That's gone. The pure creator is gone. The same as you would never dig your own well with a shovel. Okay. You don't paint your house with a little paintbrush. There are tools for that. You would never cut firewood with an axe. Use a big ass chainsaw. Okay. We now need to see ourselves as curators. I am a curator. My job is to make the value show up for these people. So if they need a checklist or a listicle on how to create an amazing headline for a blog post, whether I wrote it or not doesn't matter. But what matters is, can I curate the content and know that it is a value for these people? Because all the BO people can give them something that they don't know any better. They don't know if what they're giving them is crap or not. So I got to inject me into the process to make sure that the stuff is accurate, that it is legit, that it's current, and all that. So my perspective on this, don't worry about the AI. What you're worried about is creating value, identifying your target customer very, very well, yes, providing value, and being a curator, and if I can add something to this, a consistent curator. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, a consistent curator doesn't mean you're an avalanche person, because what's happening now is consistency is being confused with volume, with 5 times a day. In order to be consistent, I got to post a bunch of crap 5 times a day. People don't need more crap. What they need is more value. So what we emphasize is not 5 times a day, but something that's worth paying attention to, because people are drowning in a sea of crap and they're thirsting for some value. You show up with well-targeted value, well-curated, and something that's going to help somebody get a result. That's what's going to work. And isn't it interesting that you could draw all kinds of parallels in history to this as well, history of the internet and other stuff too, which we won't get into, but that's what I see happening. Enough has gone by that this is where we are. I hope that's what you were looking for.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, it was great.
You actually took everything.
You want a screenshot?
I have nothing to say now. I was going to make an analogy, because I'm not a very good cook, and my wife will attest to that. And I feel like the analogy is, when people who don't know how to cook, but they need to cook for a certain group of people, what they're doing right now is they're going and finding Mrs. Dash, which is just preset, seasonings together. And those BO people are introducing everyone to Mrs. Dash and trying to sell it as fast as they can. And more people are realizing that everyone now has Mrs. Dash and no one actually wants it, because that means everybody's food is going to taste the same. What I need to do is actually figure out, what do my people want to eat? What flavors do they like? Let me get those ingredients together. And it just so happens that there are tools to actually pull all of those ingredients together for me. And all I really have to do is just serve the dish rather than having to do all of the work and pulling it together.
And I would, just to continue with that analogy, in order to make this work, the BO people are simulated experts. The never AI people are egocentric experts, but true experts and authorities in a topic know whether what they're creating with these AI tools, especially with ours and stuff, is any good or not. So it's a non-issue. It's like a great cook can take basic ingredients and make something amazing. They don't have to pull it all from a box, and they don't have to do it all from scratch. They know how to take the ingredients, put it together, and make it awesome because they cook with love.
I'd also give a warning to those never AI people. There were also never internet people, and they're out of business now. So
that's true.
Be careful where you draw your line in the sand, because you're gonna be left behind as business progresses, and it always progresses no matter what. It doesn't stop moving forward. So that's my warning to the never AI people.
Do you think there were ever never indoor plumbing people? Never
Absolutely.
electricity people?
You live one state over from people that I believe still live that way.
True. All right, we'll just leave that alone now.
We won't say where he lives.
What I love about what we're talking about here is the value driven, right? To be just really thinking about who is my audience. And on a place like LinkedIn, we get to be really, really specific with who we're going after. We have so much information using their LinkedIn profile about their skills, their experiences, right? We know where they work, where they live.
Yeah.
There's so much information that the LinkedIn profile is providing to us. And LinkedIn is a place where virality is not celebrated. So unlike other places, LinkedIn, we get to really think about, I have my audience, my connections, my content is first going to get shown to them, not to cold audiences. How do I make sure I'm building the right audience and really educating, inspiring, and drawing people in? And to do that, you have to be human first. And that's what we believe so much, right? I talk about that all the time. And Standout Authority, we always say it's about human to human connection. Our company uses copy and content.ai. Our editors, our team, we love AI, but I'm still going through and making sure that my stories are coming into my content and it's my personal pictures. There's no AI that will ever know, at least right now, they're certainly not going to know what happened yesterday, right? Or they're not going to know that like Ava pooped on me and peed on me, right? They're just not going to know.
In due time, enough Alexas in enough houses,
right.
It'll happen.
And when that time, it will be a whole different conversation, right? Because then we're probably going to have, the next revolution. But so I want to say that, and it's part of the reason why we at Standout Authority and Josh and I have specifically partnered with Matt and Jim, because we believe in the power of AI to help us cook those meals, right? To help us get in front of those professionals willing to pay us, those decision makers, but to do it in a way that feels really authentic. And that is what we're so excited about in us partnering together, is that we have a tool to help us get there, to help you get there, because it can be tough. Jim, you wrote something down, so I want to make sure you
said something that I've heard you say before, which is so key, is value doesn't mean virality. That's like, because everybody, it didn't go viral and so I suck. My son-in-law has a video with 2 million views. Okay. Because he was a cop, he's still a cop, wearing a body camera, and he single-handedly lifted a vehicle off of a woman's head. and got it all and made it on Inside Edition.
That's
He
amazing.
continues to remind me that he has like 1,900,000 more views on a video than I have on my best video. And I remind him that he hasn't made a single dime from his video. All right. So
Yeah.
there you go, Chuckles. I love him. But if you know your target customer and you focus on putting your soul into the content, making it useful, helpful, and human, it would be that's the key. And when you talk about tools, who's got an air fryer now? I got like 3. I got one with 2 baskets. I got a microwave. I got 2 microwaves. I got 4 freezers. I mean, it's like, oh, no, it only counts if you build a fire out in the yard and cooking over a spit. What are you,
Right.
insane?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's the key is it's not the tool, it's the person using the tool, and it's the intention behind it and the creation of value. The biggest change that I'm seeing now is that people are worried about virality when they should be worried about just being a person of value. Because that's going to, with all the BS that's going on, your star is going to shine even brighter now on a dark sea of crap.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so this is an exciting time to be doing what we're talking about, simply because by doing what you're supposed to do, you are going to stand out massively.
I'd also like to reverse that equation. Virality does not equal value. So there is a struggle with influencers who have virality to figure out how to monetize on that virality. Like most influencers who have virality aren't making any money. The best they can do is just try to scrape what they can together from the platform that is handing them money, if it's YouTube or some platform that actually pays you. They don't have a way to actually find value for themselves out of the virality. So the equation's broken in both directions. Let's just not play with the equation anymore, and let's just go with value equals value.
And they
Provide
don't
value, get value back.
They don't own the list. Let's
Yeah.
let's talk about that. You might have 1 million followers on YouTube, but you don't own that list. And ultimately, the most valuable asset any of us have is not our list, but the relationship that we have with the people on that list.
Yep.
Because if you were to get banned, if you were to get deplatformed, if someone were to go out of business, those people at a minimum would like find you. Okay. But now if you're smart and you're like, okay, let me leverage this so that I've got their email. Now let me leverage these emails into a physical address. Now, last I heard, there's no algorithm at the post office that says, whoa. This is an offer and we don't agree with this offer. We're not sending it. No, last I checked, the post office, if you put a stamp on it, they'll send it because there's not a whole lot of other people sending stuff.
Yeah.
So it's more important to understand than ever that this is not where you want to be. You want to build a list. You want to develop a relationship with that list, and you want to own that list. And of all the social media platforms out there, LinkedIn is the one that's going to enable you to do that the best, especially if you're in business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Just so everyone knows, on LinkedIn, your data is your data. You can go under data privacy and go download right now all of your connections, all of the information, with the hope that you don't go spam them an email and do all that. But it's very rare that you can have access to your connections and your people. So let's talk a little bit in our couple minutes together about how freaking excited we are for our challenge at the end of the month. In case you can't get the vibes, and Josh isn't even here, us four not only believe in a lot of the same things, we have a lot of fun, and we have a challenge starting September 30th, 3-day challenge in what we've come together to call Authority Builders. And this is the Authority Builders Challenge. So that you can freaking rock your LinkedIn profile and get some massive visibilities using your real voice, bringing value, and Jim and Matt are going to be showing you how to do it using copyandcontent.ai. So it takes you like half the time.
Less than half the time.
Less than half the time. I mean, we're talking in the challenge, free challenge, September 30th, 3 days, October 1st and 2nd. Each day you're going to hang out with us. And in the time together, you're going to have output every day. Every day you're going to know who the audience, talk about the avatar. Our first day, we're going to talk about building, who's your audience? Most important piece to everything we've talked about here. Tell them a little bit about that avatar.
I actually want to talk about this because Jim can toot his own horn all he wants because he's the one that built this. But yes. I'm gonna toot Jim's horn. Take that however you want. So
wow, okay.
I will sit in front of a blank screen for hours or days because that's the biggest hurdle for me is getting the first draft on the screen.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know how to say this. I don't know what I'm trying to say. With what we're doing on day one of just going through our avatar to better understand ourselves, but also to get it implanted into copyandcontent.ai, like it now sets the foundation for I can make the first draft of everything in minutes, if not seconds. I think we timed it one time and we got the first draft of a sales letter, I think it was, in 90 seconds. Wow. And
a 10-page sales letter.
Yeah. So it is to go from staring at a blank screen, not knowing what to say, to I now have a week's worth of posts in 5 minutes because I built the foundation of this avatar inside of this system. And now all I have to do is just click the buttons of the things I want to produce is such a huge relief for me. And I feel like that's I feel like I live in the place where a lot of people live, where it's like, I'm really good at seeing a painting and telling you what's wrong with it and being able to fix it. I'm horrible at putting paint on a blank canvas. I'm just not good at it.
Totally.
So, and I feel like a lot of people are like that.
Especially when it comes
to
marketing. I mean, most people are going to be watching this. They're leadership, they're executives, right? They're really good and they need to stay in their lane. Their superpowers, right? When we talk about the personal brand building, it's not in writing a bunch of copy. So that's what's so powerful about what we're going to be here to support you with is, hey, we're going to take that off of you so that you can shine, your voice can shine. And now you have more than a first draft. Really, it's 80% of the way there in building out that profile and your avatar and your personal brand statement.
Yeah. And for those of you who, because we are talking to business owners and professionals, like the amount of time and money that this removes from your overhead is just a huge relief. Like, to be honest, if I were to pay Jim to write copy for me or for a business, like that's a huge expense. I know copywriters that they'll do one email for $3,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a lot for an email, but to be honest, it's not unheard of.
Yeah.
Because if you want copy that sells, that's what you end up having to do. You need to pay somebody who understands how to do it. Well, software like this is how you remove that price tag, remove the price tag of the monetary one and the time one. And now you control how fast it comes out, how much you want coming out, and the price tag doesn't change based on the volume that you want to produce.
Yeah. And the other thing I would add, like for your LinkedIn About Me profile, okay, your LinkedIn profile. If you've ever looked at Rachel's stuff or Jotcha's stuff and you're like, oh my God, that's amazing, I could never write that. Well, maybe you couldn't by yourself, but now we have literally baked it into the software to help you be able to create a profile that you're going to look at and go, holy crap. And you're going to do it not in weeks, but in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Being able to craft that thing and then change it, change the writing style. We like to tell everybody with our stuff, basically, it's the profile you would have written yourself if you had the time. It's the sales copy you would have written if you had the time. It's the LinkedIn post you would have written if you had the time. That's the key, is as a professional, you can recognize whether something's right or not. And the first draft is the hardest draft. So we take that out of we take that off your plate and just hand it to you on a silver platter. Oh, and unlike hiring somebody, unlike hiring that $3,000 per email copywriter, unlike hiring the outsourcer, unlike trying to make the person in your office that you like to dump stuff on to make them do it, and then they give it to you and it's like, well, this is a good try, but see, I learned about that criticism sandwich or whatever they call it, and like real, it's like you tell them something good, then you whack them, then you tell them
And
something
you say
good.
something good at the end. It's a sandwich.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
then they go, they get the heebie-jeebies, or they do the, I'll have it for you by the end of the week. With our stuff, if you don't like it, you toggle some stuff, tweak it, do that, whack the button again, and bam, here's your second draft. Here's your third draft. Here's as many drafts as you freaking want. And that's really the value of the system. And what we're talking about here with this challenge is it's got Rachel and Josh's training and templates and blueprints and proven system baked into the software now and the training. It's going to change your life, blow your mind. It's free. If you don't sign up, you hate money, hate your family, and don't want to grow a list and build your business. So there you go.
I can't emphasize enough to quickly pivot away from Jim's attack on you. I can't emphasize enough the way that Jim and I like to do these things is that you walk away with a finished product. This isn't like a, hey, show up and we're going to teach you, and then sometime down the road, you'll eventually get around to it. No, it's you show up and we will sit here and stare at you via the screen until you execute the thing that we just told you to do and showed you how to do, because you'll have access to the tools to do it as well. There will be no reason why you can't have a brand new profile. Like ideally you'll have people coming at you via LinkedIn within 7 days of doing this, asking you, hey, I saw that you do this thing. Can I talk to you? Because you've just been able to curate a better LinkedIn profile that draws people to you.
Yeah. That thank you for adding that, Matt, all jokes aside, because that's the way this is structured. It's like, it's not this giant dump and then you have, oh, yeah, go do that. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to teach you something. We're going to show you something. And then we're all going to do it together right there. So when it's over, it's not like, oh, push pause, do the thing, come back. No, when it's over, you're done. Your first draft is done by the time that challenge session is done. And that is truly unique.
Yeah, it is. And as you guys know, we've done several different live cohorts of our Standout Authority experience. We've done all sorts of things, Josh and I. And the one thing we found was how difficult it has been for people to implement, and that we were together 8 weeks and still couldn't get through the LinkedIn profile by the end because there wasn't the forcing function and the tool, which is why we knew that there was a gap, because people really need help with implementation. And that's why we specifically have this partnership with Copy and Content.ai. So on my profile and on our profiles, you're going to see how you can register for the 3-day challenge completely free. We are very excited, as you can see, and you're going to have access to Copy and Content.ai, free access during that challenge, which is amazing to be able to
you'll get free access to the tools that are included with the challenge. You're not going to get free run of the site like, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
The tools that we're using, you are getting a test drive of what's possible. So really exciting. And we really hope to see you there. It's going to be a big month, September.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hey guys, this has been a lot of fun, Matt and Jim. For those that have watched, please connect with them, say hello, and do RSVP or register. We really are excited to have this 3-day challenge with you. Regardless, have an amazing rest of your September. Very excited to be back here next month with another amazing guest. Thanks, guys. Until next time.